Do you want to know how to train a centre back in FIFA 18 career mode? I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. No sponsor today, of course. Let's just jump straight into a tutorial here on how to train a centre back for FIFA 18 career mode. So we're using Rafael Varane here from Real Madrid. He is a high potential player, approximately 92 according to most of the websites I have seen. But we're going to jump in here, look at key stats and which training which training options you should be using in your career mode. So first of all, we'll take a look at the standard Varane here. If we back out of this one, we will be able to see his rating at the start of career mode. Right, so at the start of career mode, Varane is 24 years old, I believe, and he is an 85 overall. Now, what we want to do is look at the key stats that you will want to be training to level him up as quickly as possible. I'm going to back out of this one. I'm going to load a different rosters menu where he is a 99, and we can go through those statistics. Let's go. Right, so this is a different roster which I have edited. Varane is up to a 99. Let's go in and take a look at the key statistics that will increase the overall of a centre back. Right, so if we jump into the categories here, this is the best way we can sort of work out what the value stats are for training wise. If we look at attacking, heading accuracy is worth 10 points, so 10% of his overall, a fairly high stat, something that you can train. Short passing is also a stat for centre backs. It's only worth 5 points, so for each 20 points you increase his short passing statistic, he should go up in 1 point. So 21 point, 40 up to 2 points, 3 for 60 points. Once he gets up to that full 99, he should have 5 points in his overall stat for short passing. So they're the only two that are affected for a centre back in the attacking statistics. Defending is obviously a big key part of any defender. These are worth very, very high statistics. So marking is worth 14 points. So that means for every 7 overall points you get, he will go up in 1 overall. Stand tackles, well, this is the biggest. This is the key stat here for a centre back. This is worth 17 points of his overall. So that means for every 5.88 points you get in his training, he will go up in 1 point. So a real key stat there. And slide tackling is also heavily weighted at 10. So for every 10 points in slide tackle, he will go up in 1 overall. If we look at skills, it's ball control, interestingly enough, which is a part of a centre back. It is worth 4 points of overall. So for every 25 points you get there in ball control, he will go up in 1 point. Taking a look at power, now you can't train some of these, so when you're out there looking for a centre back or your youth academy players and they're coming through, these are some of the stats that you're going to have to look for that are hopefully nice and high so that you can get that player to a decent rating. So jumping is only worth 3 overall, so not a key statistic for a centre back, but always handy to have. So for every 33 points in jumping, he will go up in 1 overall. And strength is worth 10, so for every 10 points in strength, he will go up 1 overall. So 2 pretty big statistics there that you can't train, so make sure you're looking for them when you are scouting your players. Movement wise, acceleration doesn't mean anything, but sprint speed is worth 2 points. It doesn't sound that big, but it's the difference between a 97 and a 99 centre back here. So for every 50 points you get in the sprint speed, it'll get you up that next level. Something you can't train, so you probably want to look for a physically strong sort of youth academy centre back that has a bit of pace about him, regens and the likes. The other one is reactions, definitely something we can't train, but definitely something that affects most of the overalls across most of the players. You want someone with high reactions, which is a real shame because you don't generally get that with a youth academy player. But reactions is worth 5 points. So 20%, every 20 points in reactions, you will go up 1 point. So you're probably looking for someone with at least 80 to 85 reactions for them to be a key part of your back line. Mentality, well, aggression is interestingly enough a key point here. It's worth 7 stat points, so for every 14 points in aggression you will receive 1 overall increase. So another stat there that you cannot train, so make sure you're looking for that big angry centre back if you want a high rated player. And the last one on the list is interceptions. This is worth 13 stat points, so for every 7.7 points, it will go up in 1 overall. So those are the key statistics there for a centre back, but we can train a lot of them. There are 5 stats, obviously: jumping, strength, reactions, aggression, and sprint speed, which we cannot train. So those are the key statistics. If you're going out and looking for players, you want to look for the high-end statistics on things that you cannot train. Hopefully they will, if the player has potential, they will grow by themselves. But obviously if you're overtraining a player, those may be stunted a little bit. So what you need to really do is find a player that has, you know, a decent amount in those stats. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and adjust Varane on the stats that we can't train back to his original, and we can see what kind of level we could get him up to with just training. We'll be back shortly. Alright, so I have adjusted Varane now. Obviously, we've left the ones that we can train up at 99, but the ones that we cannot train. So his jumping, he starts off at 80. His strength starts at 85. His movement is 81 sprint speed and 81 reactions, and his mentality has 77 aggression. So we can see here, if we train up everything on Varane and nothing else increases in a career mode, what kind of overall rating can we get to? Let's apply and exit. And we can see now that with full training on Varane, even if those non-trainables don't increase, we can get him up to a 96 overall. Now his potential is only 92 if we don't train him. So you can see there you could get a +4 increase. Now what I've done is I've simulated a full season, used my training regime to you know, train him every week up until the end, and he gets us some of those non-trainables do actually increase. So if we go back in here and we have a look at them, we go into his power, and his jumping for me increased by 2 to 82. His strength increased 1 to 86. His movement, sprint speed went up to 85, so that increased by 4. Whoops. And his reactions went up 6 to 87. That is very decent growth. And mentality-wise, his aggression went up to 81. So after the end of the first season, even though I was overtraining the absolute hell out of him, let's see what he could get to, even if those other ones didn't stop growing after the first season. So we'll apply and exit that, who was a 96, I believe. So with those little keys, up to a 97 now. So you can see there, he only needs a little bit of a jump up, and we've got a 97 rated centre back. So I'm going to jump into the career mode now, get towards the end of that season, and show you the key training options that you want to be using for a centre back. Let's go. Right, so the date is the 17th of June. I tried to get an extra week. They go out on international duty. But if we have a look in here, we can see that Varane is up to a 91 in the first season. So he's gone up +6. That is huge. So there's 4 options that you want to be using for a centre-back. No need for the 5th one because it's not really affecting any of the training attributes. But let's run through them now and see why we are using these particular options. Now, I've gone for high pressure finishing just to get that heading accuracy up. The other 2 statistics don't have any influence over his overall, but obviously will help him out if he's in the box for corners and crosses and the likes, but got that heading accuracy up to 88. Defending endurance is the key one. So if you're only going to use one option to train your centre back, defending endurance is the #1 option to use. Reason being that it is covering interceptions, marking, slide tackle, and stand tackle. And if you add all those up, that is 54% of his overall to get him to 100. So that is a key option if you want to be training a centre back. If you only want to use one slot, that is the one that I would recommend to start with, and train him away. That will increase him tenfold. The next one I've chosen is bucket up. Now, if you were using a youth academy player, you could probably go in and change that up so that you were using the dribble possession just to increase the stamina a little bit. But what you'll actually notice is that the bucket up will increase their ball control more than it will with the dribble possession. So that's why I went for bucket up, because ball control is obviously a stat for the centre back. And the final one is through the gates. That is just to get his short passing up, which is another small stat there for centre back. And I was just training the goalkeeper just for shits and giggles. So there are the 4 key stats that you want to be using. Let's go and have a quick look in the squad hub and see how much he has increased over a season. Right, here is Raphael Varane, and now he is one of the world's best centre-backs. He is a 91 overall, and if we go in and look at these attributes, let's have a look here. Now, obviously, we can't see the strength and the vision and that. I did go and check them in the other menu, but you can see here, up 6 in agility. He went up 2 in jumping by himself. Reactions went up 6 by itself. Aggression up 4. His interceptions is up to 90. Obviously, his ball control is up by 12. That is very, very decent. His marking, stand tackle, slide tackle are all up. Short passing up by 13. That's really helped him out there. And he will just be a complete defensive unit at the back. So that's where we'll leave this tutorial. Hopefully you've enjoyed that one there on centre back. So far we've covered the striker role and the centre back role. If you would like to see more of these tutorials, please do let me know in the comments down below on what other positions you would like to see done. And I will try and cover them at a later date. But thanks very much for tuning into this tutorial on how to train a centre back. We will see you in the next video. I'm Sparring DK. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you have a good one.